Hello, it is a Tuesday and I'm officially back working. In fact, just having an absolute nightmare of a Tuesday for work, and not really bad things, just a lot to do. Which kind of is the price we pay for a super long weekend, so I'm not too fussed about it. So after my Carly Fortune reread, I picked up a couple of books that were interesting me. I couldn't quite find anything that I wanted. So in the end, what I wound up doing was going to my local independent bookstore and picking out a new contemporary that was just speaking to me. So what I picked up was The Idiot. This is one that I've had my eye on for quite a long time. I've been told so many times, if you like Sally Rooney, then you have to give this a try, and I guess it is finally time. I'm going to be picking this one up, and I've read about 20 pages this morning. And then, of course, book number 2, surprise to no one, is Heir. And this is book 3, technically book 4 with the novella of the Throne of Glass series that I will be continuing on this week. So with that being said, it is the start of a new work week, and this is what I will be reading. Hello, I'm just checking in. It's my lunchtime. Basically just to note that the workday gets more and more hectic, where the whole CRM that we use crashed. So I'm dealing with that and a lot of admin stuff, but I'm on my break. I'm watching Singles Inferno. I'm probably gonna keep that going while I create the next email campaign for my work and attempt to get this thing up and running and back online like it should be. So that's what I'm gonna do. I just had a salad for lunch and the dogs have been out, so maybe I'm gonna sneak in a little bit of Heir, I'm thinking, just to get myself back in the world. I already started The Idiot today, so I think that's what I'm gonna do, and nothing picks me up quite like a Sarah J. Maas, so that is definitely what's happening. Okay, so it is getting on 6 o'clock, and unfortunately, there's no end in sight for my workday, so I can say that I read the first chapter of Heir. Aelin is officially heading to the rest of the phase where magic is still in existence, and she's going to meet her people. So that's what's going on there. I started The Idiot. The protagonist is headed to Harvard. I'm guessing it takes place in the 90s because it's her first time like accessing email. They still call it the World Wide Web. So that's a really fun setting to be in, but honestly, it doesn't look like I'm gonna get much reading done today. Most of my reading will be done at the end of the day when I look like a troll and my glasses are back on and I don't have a cute outfit on. But until then, I'm gonna keep working. I have lots to get through before I head off for the day, and I would like to eat dinner at some point. So I'm going to wrap today up, unfortunately with not much reading done, but I'll check back tomorrow during my lunch to let you know what reading I get done tonight. Okay, just kidding. I actually had time to check in one more time. So I officially worked 9.5 hours today, not including a 30-minute lunch. So I worked 10 hours and I'm exhausted, but sorry, I'm watching my rewatch of Vanderpump. But that being said, the day is done finally, but it is officially nighttime, so that means I'm just going to start reading. I even phoned in dinner, so truly the day has come and gone. So I'm just going to curl up, take a quick shower, get cozy, and just read Heir and The Idiot for the rest of the night. Okay, so it's another rainy day in Halifax, and Emma is going stir crazy. So if you hear that, that's what's going on there. This is supposed to be our last rainy day for like a nice stretch of good weather, so I'm very much looking forward to that. She was actually being really quiet before I started filming. But I finally read enough that I can check in about the books I'm reading. So first, I'll check in about The Idiot. So in this book, we are following Celine, who is recently in Harvard. This takes place in the 1990s, I believe. And she is just getting the lay of the land, starting to we're starting to be introduced to like a cast of characters basically, and all that kind of follows with that, and getting to know your campus and Celine's schedule and everything like that. So it's a very slow introduction. I read the first 50 pages and it's slow going, but not in a bad way. It's just very much taking its time and introducing exactly what this story is going to be about. And then I read the first 50 pages of Heir as well. So we have, she's still being called Selena right now, but we have Aelin, who has journeyed to another kingdom and is sort of scouting out the prince and all of that. And we're following separately Dorian and Kale as they're back just where Selena's gone from. And I will say we finally saw Rowan, which is very exciting, but I'm not super interested in what's going on with Dorian and Kale. So I'll check in again when I've read a good chunk of this, because I don't really remember, besides like her training sequence and the end of Heir, what really goes on in the middle. I remember I really didn't like this book the first time I read it, but 50 pages in, I'm already enjoying it more than the first time. So I have higher hopes for this one again. But it's just getting on 8:30 in the morning, so that does mean I'm starting work here shortly, and I will probably read again come my lunch. Hello, good morning. Today is Friday. Sorry if you can hear the aircon going. We are in the middle of a heat wave here in Nova Scotia. So they're saying with the humidex, it's going to get up to 101 degrees today, or 38 Celsius. I still think in Fahrenheit, unfortunately, it is a little bit of the unfortunate circumstance of growing up in the States. But I wanted to check in and say I'm making my way through Heir. I'm still just in the beginning of it, but we have finally been introduced to Maeve. Our cast of characters that we will know later on in the series is definitely growing at this point. So I'm really excited to hunker down. Today is going to be a slower day at work. Thankfully, my Fridays tend to be a little bit slower, so I will have time to pick this up, read a little bit more, get a little bit further in my Sarah J. Maas rereading. And I think what I'll do is, so I was supposed to be traveling this weekend, but circumstances just made it to where I'm not anymore. So what I'll do is I'll keep you guys along. I have to do some yard work for the house and a little bit of stuff like that, but in general, it should be a bit of a reading weekend. Okay, so I am checking in. I have just been filming little snippets of videos, and in every video, I'm apologizing. My voice is not great right now. I'm just battling a cold, but I have finished Heir. This is book 4 in the Throne of Glass series, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than the first time, and the ball is really rolling in this series now. We have Manon involved, Rowan comes into play, and they're all finally heading back now, and I just really enjoyed my time here. Excuse me. Because I enjoyed Queen of Shadows so much last time, I think I'm going to take a pause on this series, and instead I'm going to pick up A Court of Silver Flames right here, and read that and wrap that up for our Sarah J. Maas read-along, and that will finish off the Court of Thorns reread, and all I will have to do is finish up the Throne of Glass series and reread Crescent City 1 and 2. Crescent City, the 3rd cover, was just released, and the cover reveal had a lot of hints. I have a lot of theories and speculations based on the tattoos on her arm and everything like that, so honestly, it's just mounting and mounting my anticipation. So Heir was definitely a success, and I will move on to A Court of Silver Flames now. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I filmed that last clip. I kind of feel like I've just been losing steam, but I had to remind myself. I'm halfway through the Throne of Glass series. I'm 4 books through. I have the 4 biggest books to go, but I'm almost done the Court of Thorns and Roses series. So all I have left to read is A Court of Silver Flames, which the first time I read this in a few days. So it's currently Thursday. I'm just wrapping up work, and I thought, you know what? Let's just get into this. The audiobook was available to borrow from my library, so I'm going to do that and just get into it and dedicate these next 3 days to finishing A Court of Silver Flames. And with that, finishing off July, because I think we're 3 days shy of August, that would mean I am halfway through my Sarah J. Maas complete reread. Hello and happy weekend. Apparently Nova Scotia can't make up its mind what kind of weather it wants to have, so it is Friday and we are currently in the midst of a heat wave, so my air conditioner is working overtime. But I wanted to say that I am officially 10% of the way through A Court of Silver Flames, and I wanted to give my initial thoughts. So right away I will say that it's not as unbearable, like Nesta's not as unbearable as I remember her being the first time, but the book is definitely dragged out. Just 10% of the way through and knowing how far we have to go, I feel like Sarah J. Maas really took her time with this story. Sometimes maybe not in the most, I don't feel like these 800 and some pages are used in the best way necessarily. Already there was a lot of fluff that I feel like could have been trimmed right off the hop, and a lot of kind of refreshers or like recapping that, you know, we're technically A Court of Frost and Starlight doesn't count, so this is book 4 book 4 in the series, and like if you don't got it now, you don't got it. So like some things we don't have to spend time on unless it's going to further the plot we're in right now, which I don't feel like it has. So I'll come back when I'm maybe 50% of the way through. I don't have much to do this weekend, unfortunately. I am going through another bout of vertigo right now, so hopefully I'll be able to attend my best friend's birthday party, but it's not looking good right now. So I just finished work and some phone calls, so for right now I'm going to go lay down, and it has seemed to ease off in the last little bit, so hopefully we are over the hill. But yeah, I'm gonna go listen to more of A Court of Silver Flames. Okay, so I'm back to say that I did finish A Court of Silver Flames, and I really did enjoy it. So I did a one and done basically in 24 hours. I blew through it, and that is something that I really appreciate about Sarah J. Maas. Like, even in a 800-page monster of a book, you can read it essentially in a weekend. So some thoughts I have on this. I will say the further and further I get into series, the more I do believe that Sarah J. Maas sort of had this idea of merging her world. Do I think that it was something planned right from the beginning, as like a lot of people are trying to discuss, as she says that was her original plan? I don't know, but I do think it was planned a lot earlier. Now that I've gone back and am rereading all of her books, I do think it has been in the works for quite a while. There's a lot of signs that have all pointed to it, and I'm gaining more and more theories about just what's going to unfold in Crescent City 3. But about A Court of Silver Flames, so I really appreciated the story. I will say it was probably just like 200 pages too long. There's a lot we sat with and a lot of repetition within the training and the monotony of all of that day to day, that I do think it was for a reason, because it really made us sit with the struggles that Nesta was going through. But at the same time, I do think it could have been just trimmed down a little bit. But I will say, out of the original ACOTAR series, if I had to rank them, I would definitely say it would be Court of Mist and Fury, of Court of Wings and Ruin, Silver Flames, and ACOTAR, and then like the Christmas special way down at the bottom, because like I just really don't like that. But yeah, so it's one of my least favorite in the series, but that being said, it's Sarah J Maas, so I still enjoyed it. So next on the docket, I will be continuing and finishing the Throne of Glass series. We're now heading into just my favorite books, Queen of Shadows, and Kingdom of Ash obviously is my favorite, which is probably a surprise to no one, but it does look like my library has a lot of them available, so I think the next little bit is just gonna fly. And I'm just really enjoying taking this year to reread all of Sarah J Maas's work. So with that being said, I will see you in my next video.